When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at Jewel International, Gordon D Melville.
Good afternoon, my friends. You're with the Long Bearded Guy, Gordon D Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. Welcome to the group. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the radio show. Welcome to the TV show. Thank you so much for being here. I see my good friend Juanita, that's South Africa, in the house. Amazing, amazing. Thank you for being here, Juanita. Love you. All right. So, by the way, I want to just give massive, deep appreciation for the people that have reached out in the last 8 or 9 weeks, just over 2 months. I've had more than 1,500 people, almost 1,600 people reach out in one way or another, responding to the show. So likes and loves and comments and shares and questions and whatnot. Amazing, amazing. And that's wildly humbling to me that it's connecting like that. I just wanted to say thank you so very much for following and interaction and engagement, because that's at the end of the day what I'm looking for is massive engagement. So thank you for that. Let's get after it. We want to get into it right away today. So teaching these 4 cornerstone ownership, 100% ownership cornerstones for more than 3 decades. These things I developed on my own, just with life and with my personal development journey. And I've shared them and taught them all over North America in the last 3 decades because they're very near and dear to my heart. And I think there are ways to, I know that these 4 things, if people can suck onto them and make them part of who they are, that they can change their life. You can go anywhere you want, life, business, personal, anywhere you want in your life, sports, and anywhere with these four ideas we're going to share today. And these principles, these cornerstones, and it'll pick it up. So I want to share them with you. I'm so excited. Wait till the end for the call to action. That's in the 4th segment, but watch for that. Very exciting for me to share those things with you. So I want you also to find, we're wildly excited that this week we found out we've always been on Apple TV and Google TV through another network, another distribution channel. But this week we found out we have our own app, our own Inspired Choices Network app on Google TV and Apple TV, which opens us to more than 50 million subscribers globally. That's really exciting for me because that's global, and that we've always been global, but 450 plus platforms, including that means there's tens of millions of people that are potentially exposed to any of this stuff. And that's, again, very humbling, but also very, very exciting. So find us on your smart TV. If you got a smart TV and you pull up Inspired Choices Network, you can watch me on your TV at home. So that's absolutely exciting for us. And we're trying to get exposure. We're trying to get engagement. So please like and love and share and whatnot. If you're seeing something you like and hearing something you like, come and like it and share it with your friends. All right, let's go. Segment 1 is about the first half, because there's 4 ownership cornerstones. All right. If you're writing this stuff down, make sure you have your pen and your journal or your paper. I always write it in a journal, but if you've got pen and paper, make sure you want to write these things down. They've been such a huge impact for my life, but for lots of other people, thousands of other people that have used it. And even if they're using it without even realizing they're using it, if that makes any sense, because the principles are the same, regardless of whether people are aware of it or not. So the first 2 that we're going to share in this segment are the only 2 things in our life we can control. Control is an illusion. Anybody that's got children or pets knows very, very, very well. Control is an illusion. We do not have control about anything except these 2 pieces. The first one's my attitude. That's the number 1 cornerstone, attitude. I've heard somebody say it's a small thing that makes a big difference. I think it's a monster big thing, and it's something I can choose. It's something I have control of. It's something we all have control of. It may not be easy. It might not be an easy choice, but we can control our attitude. What I think, what goes on in between my two ears, in that, however far that is. For some of us, it's big, and for some of us, it's small. But between our two ears, what's going on in our head, I can control that. We can control that. That's going to filter into everything else. So I want to make sure we understand. We have control of what's going on between our two ears, whether we think so or not, whether we believe it or not. We have absolutely unequivocal control. Are there things that pop in? For sure. Are there things that pop in and out? Yes, for sure. Are there stuff that we can't control in terms of stimulation that's coming from different places? Yes, absolutely. Advertising and whatnot, for sure. But at the end of the day, we can think about that or not think about that. We can choose to think about that or not. So the first one is attitude, what I'm thinking. The second one is my work ethic. Who am I being? What am I doing? Because what I think and what I do are the only two things in my life I can control. And it's the same for any of us. That doesn't mean we don't make plans and we don't, set goals and have a definite major purpose and have vision and all those good things. But it's all I'm saying is what I do and what I think, what we do and what we think are the two pieces of our lives we can control. Now, can I influence people around me by what I think and what I do? Absolutely, I can. If I respond differently, they may respond differently. Again, it goes back to the whole life. So only 10% what happens to you, and 90% how we respond to that, because that's a choice we're making. The 10% of life happening to us is something we can't control. Good and bad things happen to everybody. How we respond to those things, we can control. So the first two cornerstones of 100% ownership are what we think and what we do. So our attitude and our work ethic. And I want to point out the whole 100% ownership thing. It's not because of anybody else. It's not, we all sometimes we'll look at it and go, oh, it's, as a bad boss or an ex spouse or a partner or my parents or something else. And that once we're adults, once you hit 18, 19, 20, you're an adult. The world doesn't look at you and go, well, you know what? It's okay. Your parents screwed you up, or, that was a bad teacher. They don't look at that anymore. And we have to be able to 100% take ownership of our own shit. Pardon my French. It's our stuff. It's the things we created by the decisions and choices we've made. And whether we like that or not, or believe that or not, or want to accept that or not, we are where we are because of the decisions and choices we've made. How we've allowed our brain to work and what we've done, the two things we can control, the choices we've made. So ownership, 100% ownership of the cornerstones, 100% ownership of our own stuff. Own it. What you think and what you do. And I've said this before when I was in the financial world, and I would ask people once in a while, and still to this day, people ask, hey, these things, and we're talking about stuff and they get passionate about things. They go, oh, that's an absolute priority for me. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Quick thing though. Show me your day timer and show me your bank book. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because where you spend your time and your money is the real priority, regardless of what your mouth says, regardless of what you convince yourself or sell yourself on. And it's the same for all of us, where we spend our time and our money, that's the priority in our life. Those are the priorities. And again, we can like that or not like that, but 100% extreme ownership says, I own the fact that I am where I am today. People look at me and go, you've been sick for 7 years. Your body's letting you down. And I'm like, no, that's not true. I let my body down. I didn't do self-care for 30 years, and I ran 300 miles an hour with my hair on fire. I was the guy that was at work at 5 o'clock in the morning and still there at 1 a.m., 10 days a week, 500 days a year. And I know that's an exaggeration. I know that's not how many days in a year there are. My point is, you get the point. Yeah, and we all know people like that. Maybe you're that person. Maybe we are that people. Maybe you're that person and it's not bad to run 300 miles an hour with your hair on fire. Knock yourself out. All the people that I look up to, they all do the same thing. The one thing they do differently that I didn't do for 30 years was look after themselves. And they did self-care. And so, again, ownership, my attitude towards all those things. What's my attitude towards self-care? What is it important? Not important. Was it on my day timer? No, it wasn't. Was it something I spent money on to make sure I was healthy? No, I didn't. Did I take a multivitamin? Did I sleep? Did I do anything? Did I do the things that I needed to do to be healthy, to be able to run at 300 miles an hour? No. So what did I do? What was I being? Right? What was my work ethic? What was I choosing to do? I was choosing not to look after me, because a paradigm I've been put in my head was that it was selfish to look after yourself first. It's others focused. And that's great. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying it's selfish not to look after yourself first. It's selfish not to pay attention to, because if you slide sideways, that's what happened to me. I slid sideways. I was in bed for 2 years and I couldn't get up. Well, what good am I? I'm no good. I was pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping for my family, the people I loved and cared about, but I wasn't looking after myself. And so when I slid sideways, all of a sudden I'm no good to the people that I was doing it for. It's okay to run 300 miles an hour with your hair on fire. I encourage that. But do self-care. Choose to look after yourself. And it's not instead of, and I've said this before, I know it bears repeating. It's not looking after yourself first instead of doing your responsibilities, looking after the people you're responsible for. It's doing it as well as. So showing up ahead of time. If you're normal getting up at 5 o'clock, get up at 4 o'clock. If you're normal, get up at 7, get up at 6. Whatever you need to do to look after you first. Make the choice to have an attitude of gratitude first, but an attitude that says, I need to look after myself. I need to look after myself first so that I can show up the way I intend to, the way I want to, the way I was meant to for the people around me. So those are the first two, what I think and what I do, my attitude and my work ethic. And I want you to think during this first break, I want to do a quick shout out, but during this first break, remember to pause and breathe, close your eyes and just pause and breathe and think about your attitude and your work ethic, what you're thinking and what you think about, what you spend the most amount of time thinking about, and what your work ethic is, what you're being and what you're becoming. In the first break, I want you to think about that. My shout outs today are, the first one is for my good brother, Jose Escobar, is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about the morning and evening routine mastery program that's changing people's lives. And that goes right to the heart of what we're talking about today. Being able to bookend your day, which is what he says. This program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. It sets up that's the looking after yourself. That's the choosing, having the attitude to go, no, I have to look after myself. So set up your free strategy session with Jose Escobar today. You can reach him at www.theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. And my second shout out today is my good friend, Kathleen. It's Kat Schwartz, is the owner and founder at Compassionate Healing Services. And one of my sponsors, one of my founding sponsor partners on the long bearded guy, Kat Schwartz, is the founder and CEO of a groundbreaking company called Compassionate Healing Services. and offers a completely unique approach to treating physical and mental health challenges. Check her out at www.chsyoga.com or on Instagram at Compassionate Healing Services. I'm so thankful for my sponsors. I can't do this without them. And without you as listeners. So thank you so very much. We'll see you. You're with the long bearded guy. That's Gordon D Melville on Inspired Choices Network. See you on the other side. Don't forget to pause and breathe.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, thank you for sticking with me. I was just thinking here as I was doing my own pause and breathe. Yeah, put your hand on your heart, like right over your heart here. Do you feel that? Do you feel that? Pum 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 pum. That means you're alive still. That's purpose. That means you have time. At least for now. You have time. You've been gifted the present. Be in the present. All right. So we've done the first two, attitude and work ethic. What I think and what I do, or what I'm being, are the first two things that we can control, but they're the first two 100% ownership cornerstones that we can get ahead with, that we can model our life with, that we can shape our life with. The other thing I want to point out just real quick before I move to the next two, the last two, is that what I think controls everything else. What we think, nothing happens in our body without thought. The thing we breathe, our heart beats. That's our subconscious, but that's still coming from our mind. We're not thinking about it, but it's happening. My attitude and what's going on in my head will permeate down into the rest of my life. If I have stinking thinking, that's going to cause some challenges for me, because it's really hard to be positive with stinking thinking. I need positive thinking. I need positive stuff going into my head. That doesn't mean there are not negative things that happen. Negative things that happen, for sure there are. We all have. It's not a, I'm not looking at it with rose-colored glasses, but being able to choose, I can go, you know what? I have to acknowledge that emotion. People will ask me, how do I deal with that? Acknowledge that it's there. It's real. That anger, that frustration, that it's all there. That's there, but don't live there. I give myself a time limit. I'm going to be angry for 5 minutes and then I'm going to move on. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to have a frozen moment, right? I'm going to let it go. I'm going to acknowledge it's there, I'm going to acknowledge, hey, you know what? I see I'm frustrated, but I can't stay there. So how do I get rid of that? I just have to let it go. I have to set it down. We carry so much baggage that's not ours. We carry baggage that we don't need to. We're exhausted from carrying all this emotional baggage that we really don't need to carry around. Is it going to matter in a year? Lots of things don't. Well, then stop worrying about it. Put it down. If it's not going to matter in a year, 5 years, let it go. Acknowledge it's there. Got to do that. Because it's not time to blind. It's not like a 2-year-old standing there going, you can't see me, you can't see me. It's not that. We have to acknowledge it, but then let it go. All right, let's get to the next two. This one is a big one, but it's one that people hate. It's the one I think of the bunch that they hate is accountability with consequences. What does that mean? Because when most people and most adults hear consequences, they hear getting spanked or punishment as a child. That's not the deal in terms of adult. When we're adult, I only get spanked when I'm good, if that makes any sense to you. But accountability. So for me to get better, I need somebody else to hold me accountable. With my pro athlete clients, they wanted to know, even though they were at a really high caliber of discipline, they needed somebody to hold their feet to a fire to make sure they still executed what they wanted to do, because it's hard to do. I need that accountability. What does that mean? If I know somebody is better, has more skill, or has information that I need and I want, I'm going to go and say, hey, can you teach me? Can you mentor me? Can you, I'm going to go and hire a coach. That's their job, is to hold your feet to the fire, hold you accountable for what you said you were going to do, what you said you wanted to do. Even to the point of micromanage. I look at myself even and go, you know what? If I know the other person is better at some specific skill that I want to learn, I go to them and go, hey, can you hold me accountable? Can you teach me and then hold me accountable? Micromanage me if you have to. Why? Adults go, I don't want to be micromanaged. I want somebody. You know what? In a business environment, if they micromanage me, the tighter they can hold me accountable, the tighter that is, it makes me better at what I'm doing. And as I get better at what I'm doing, I become more successful. As I become more successful, I make more money. But I can't do that without that accountability at a high level. What's the consequence then? What's the consequence of having that kind of level of accountability? If they're holding me that kind of accountable, what's the consequences if I don't do? And again, it's not punishment. Right? The consequences can be good or bad. Good in the sense of success and more money. Negative and it's not even really a negative side. That consequence on the other side is just more education. In a business environment, consequence usually means more education. It means I don't have some of the information. I need to be held even tighter accountable. I'm missing some of this. I didn't learn it as well as I could have or should have. Maybe there's something there I've missed, or maybe I need to have that lesson again. And so having those consequences wrapped around that accountability is key to accountability being effective. That being said, if my attitude towards accountability is a negative one, I don't want to be, I'm a big boy. I don't need to be watched. I don't need to be micromanaged. Get away from me. I don't need it. If that's my attitude, or my attitude towards consequences is a negative one, I'm going to push back and go, no, I don't want it. Well, it's going to make it hard to get to the levels I want. If I'm really wanting to be upwardly mobile and achieve more, I can't do that without learning and expanding and growing, intentionally growing. That they come hand in hand. And the people that want to be intentional about their growth, those people will embrace accountability. And it's all a learning, growing thing. And we're going to talk about that during the call to action. So watch for that, because there's a big piece to that. That's we've got attitude and work ethic. We now have accountability with consequences. The fourth one is, are we ready? Actually execution. So it's execution, actually doing, Actually, boots on the ground. This is the do portion. I can read, inspirational memes all day. I can write it. I can think positive thoughts with my brain, but at some point I have to execute the plan. We all know teams that look like a pro team or look like a good team, or on paper they're amazing. They have a game plan going into the game, but they don't execute. The difference between the winner and the loser outside of the score is the team that was more effective in executing their plan for the game. The difference between successful and not successful a lot of the time is pure execution, actually doing it. So many people fear holds them back from executing. Well, what happens if I fail? And what happens if this doesn't work? And what happens if people out? It doesn't matter. We've talked about that. People's opinions don't matter. Don't worry about anybody else. Most people are way too fixated on their own life. They're not worried about yours. So it's step through that fear. Step through that fear and actually execute all the things you want, the dreams and aspirations and vision you have for your life, your definite major purposes are all on the other side of that fear. I'm going to say that again. Everything you want in life is on the other side of your fear. Kind of a challenge. Step through the fear. Execute. Actually do. Actually be. Because then you're becoming who you want to be, not what somebody else's agenda is for you. Because if you don't have a plan for your life, somebody else is going to plan for you. And you're planning and being part of building their life and building their dreams. That's why I love being an entrepreneur. I'm building my dreams. I built somebody else's dreams for 30 years, 27 years. I'm not building anybody else. I'm building my dreams. I'm building my family's dreams. I'm fulfilling the purpose I was intended to be here for. So I want to talk about them just real quick again. Attitude, what I think, what's going on up here. Work ethic, what I do, who I'm being. Accountability with consequences to help me be better. And then actually executing on what my plan is. Very, 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 very powerful. And we're going to talk about that in the next piece. We're going to pull it all together and understand, hey, this is where we're at. So don't forget, we're having fun. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. Don't forget to pause and breathe through the break, and we'll see you on the other side. This is the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with. Really appreciate it. Hope you were pausing and breathing during that break. I noticed my my long beard is all over the place. I was like, it doesn't matter. People don't come to look at what my beard looks like. They come to get information and to have fun and to be inspired. So I guess my beard doesn't matter. Anyway, so segment number 3, it's 100% mine. It's we're going to talk a little bit about the ownership, extreme ownership. We are who we are and where we are in our life because of the choices and decisions we've made. That's just the long and short of it. We can like it, we can not like it. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't change the fact that we are where we are because we chose to be here. So I want to tell you a quick story using those 4 pillars, just as a quick illustration. A few years ago, if you follow sports, follow football, the New York Giants beat the Patriots. The Patriots came into that game like 17-0. They'd won every game of the season, right back to the Super Bowl and before. The season before, they came in, the New York Giants had to win the wild card game to get into the Super Bowl. So whether they should have been there, not been there, they weren't on paper, they were nowhere near as good. And so they go into that game, Super Bowl, it's for all the marbles. It's just a one-off game. It's on one day, massive, big game. Lots of all the stuff is there. All the advertising, all the build up to that is there. All this stuff is going on. Those 4 things, and watch. Everybody had written off New York and said the Giants, there's no way they can win. The Patriots are just going to steamroll over them. It's going to be a blowout. And New York said their attitude and what they were thinking was, no, we got this. Positive. We have this. We can win. Nobody else thinks so. Most other people don't think so. We know we can. We believe in ourselves. We know we can. We have positive attitude. We know we can. So that's what they were thinking. What was their work ethic look like? Nobody on that team took a down off the whole game on any of the lines in offense or defense and special teams, nothing. Everybody pounded and pounded and pounded and pounded. That teamwork, they held together. That work ethic said, no, I'm here from the people on the left and the right of me. I'm here for my team. I'm here for my city. we're here for each other. And I'm going to put it all on the line and leave it all in the field. Work ethic, what they were doing what they needed to do. They were pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and battling, not yet giving up even a half a second. Push and push and push. 300 miles an hour with their hair on fire. Accountability with consequences. Eli, if I remember correctly, he threw the quarterback for the Giants. I think he threw at least two interceptions during that game. And as he comes off the field, it's the Super Bowl, and you just gave the other team, this monumentally amazing team on paper, you gave them the ball, you threw it to them, you allowed them to intercept. So as he's coming off the field, do you think the coach is happy with him? Is his boss happy? No, he wasn't happy. But as he comes off the field, he doesn't look at him and go, "You're fired, get out." That's not what happened. That's not the consequence. What was the consequence? More education. So they go to commercial break, they come back from the break, and Eli is sitting in the middle of all these, the quarterback coaches and the backup quarterbacks, and they're looking at paper, all this here. This is why that happened, Eli. This guy missed a thing, and this guy came around here. And it was education. It was understanding. Hey, you know what? Let's give you some more education. Let's learn you some more. Make you aware of the things that are going on so that that doesn't happen again. So it's education. And it happened at least twice. So yeah, coach was not happy, but they kept, it was education. Accountability with the consequence. And then the fourth one, execution. Nobody took a down off, and their game plan was, I think Brady had only been sacked 5 or 6 times the whole season. They sacked him 5 times in that one game. They executed their game plan better than the Patriots did. And guess what? Wonder of wonders, the Giants won that Super Bowl. That's the most improbable. And we all know stories like that, where someone's overcome, or the underdog has, that's the whole Rocky idea, right? The underdog gutting it out with his big heart and just, right? What are they doing? What was he doing? Even Rocky had a positive attitude. He knew he could win. Lots of people discounted him. Almost everybody discounted him. He worked his butt off. Nobody outworked him. Nobody outworked him. And so what he was doing and doing and being and being and being and being, and that work ethic, that there's something he can control, just kept pushing. Even accountability with consequence. In all the Rocky movies, he sometimes loses first, or something happens that's a negative, and he has to overcome that on top of everything else to get to the prize, to the brass ring. And he does. And what was the consequence? Well, more training, more workout, more harder, longer, different exercise, whatever it is. There's a consequence. And then an execution. When he got in the ring, he was like, you know what? I have to put it all out here. And however he motivates himself, wherever he finds inspiration. And I think those are two different things, by the way. Inspiration and motivation are two different deals. I can't motivate somebody. And this goes back to our piece at the beginning as far as the things we can control. I can't motivate anybody else. I can inspire them to motivate and to find the motivation for themselves. We want to be inspiration for others to find the motivation in themselves. And a lot of times as a coach, that's what the coach is doing. Inspiring and leading and asking questions through what's going on to get their client to find inside themselves, because the answers are already there. Does that, I'm hoping that resonates and makes sense. That resonates. You do the Tony thing and say I, which is, I'm going to be the only person that says I, because I can't hear anybody else say I. So anyway, so again, it's understanding. Yes, we can. And you're going to hear common themes. Somebody had said to me, hey, an hour, it's a long time to do a podcast or a radio show. And so you hear duplications. And if you listen to multiples of my shows, there are some common, very, very, very blatant common themes in my shows. And there's a reason for that. People don't hear, people only retain about 10%, even with good notes, people only really retain about 10% of what they heard, even with good notes. So you'd have to watch one of my podcasts or one of my radio shows or one of my TV shows 10 times at least to get it all. Why? Because we can only absorb so much at a time. And because of where we are in our day, what our attitude is when we came in to listen today, and wherever you're listening to this and however you're watching or listening, what's happened in your day today is putting you in a space that allows you to hear certain things. We've all done a thing where we watched a movie and we go, oh, that was good, or that was crap. And then 6 months later, there's nothing on TV, whatever. And it happens to be there. We're like, oh, all right. You know what? I'll watch it again. And you watch it again and go, wow, you know what? That wasn't as bad as I thought the first time. Or, you know what? I thought that was great, but that wasn't that good. What happened? What did the movie change? They rewrote the script. They reshot it. No. What's changed? Who I am has changed. Who you are has changed. What attitude and what your emotions are on that day can absolutely influence what you see and what you hear. It dictates what you let into you. And so when I talk about attitude and work ethic, attitude, what I think and what I do being so powerful, those common themes are coming through show after show after show in different ways and in different parts of our life. But we as humans, we complicate it. We want to complicate it. It's very simple. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy, but it's very, very simple. And there's some very, very simple things we can do. That's only 4 pieces. Those 4 cornerstones. What I think, what I do, attitude, work ethic, accountability with consequences, and execution. If I can hold on to those 4 things and actually have a positive attitude towards them and embrace them and then execute on those, use them in my day-to-day life. If you want more in that, reach out to me. I'm a coach, one-on-one, group. I happen to have 3 spots open at the moment. I opened 3 new spots. That has very rarely happened for me. So I'm available to do that. You want to dig deeper into some of the stuff, you want to hold yourself accountable with consequence, you let me know. Reach out to me. I want to pull all this together because in the last little piece, I want to talk just real quick what the call to action is. So I want to pull together what we're talking about. I want us to understand that sometimes we need, and most of the time, we need somebody else to watch our blind spot and to be able to hold us to account. Coaches will do that. A mentor will do that. And a mentor or coach in multiple areas. Sometimes it's for a period of time to get you over a hump, to get their book written, to get the job you're looking for, to get over that to that next level as an athlete, to move up a level or two, to go from semi-pro to pro, to go from pro to elite, superstar status, celebrity. But if that's what you want, if that's not what you want, what do you want? A coach can get you, a mentor can get you that next step. And so, like I say, maybe it's for a season that you have that particular coach, and maybe there's coach after coach after coach. Leadership is something that is influence. That's a John Maxwell. Leadership is influence. What does that mean? It means that what I think, my attitude and my work ethic can inspire other people. There's lots of us that want to inspire. I want to inspire you into greatness, into living out and becoming who you were meant to be, what your purpose is here. Sometimes people struggle with that. What's my purpose? What am I doing here? Why am I here? Why are any of us here? Those are deep psychological questions, life questions that are universal. We all ask the same type of thing, but a coach can cut through. A good coach can cut through all the noise and the other things, the distractions and all the other things, and help you figure out what your purpose is. Really, truly what your purpose is. And I encourage you, find a coach, find a mentor, multiples if you need to. And it can be, people say, oh, I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to do that. You know what? You can't afford to do that because you don't have a coach or a mentor. That's why you can't afford to do that. And I flip that over and look at it the other side. You can't afford not to do that. How much are you not becoming? How much of your limited, finite resource of time are you going to waste not being and becoming who you were meant to be, living out your purpose? How long you're going to live to stay in that space? If it costs a lot, it costs a lot. It's way more costly. They say education is costly. Stupidity is even more costly. Try being stupid and watch what happens. That's an even more expensive, and not just in dollars and cents. It's expensive in all ways, in every way, in absolutely every way. So I want to encourage you, find a mentor, find a coach, find a couple of coaches, whatever it is that you need to help you. I want to do one last shout out as we go to break here. And again, I'm having a good time. This is something that's I get passionate about. So I apologize if that sounds intense or I get intense. I apologize. I get really passionate about it. I want to do shout outs again. So my great friend Kathleen, Kat Shorts, the owner and founder at Compassionate Healing Services. If you email, this is very exciting for me. If you email info@Compassionate Healing Services and mention that you heard about this from the long bearded guy, you will receive 20% off one of her services. That's $100 savings off Kat's most unique offering, which is spiritual private investigation services. Incredible. So check her out, www.chsyoga.com, or on Instagram at Compassionate Healing Services. And then again, my brother, Jose Escobar, love him dearly. Very, very thankful for him. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. It's been, without hyperbole, it's been life-changing for me. It really has. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up a virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at www.theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. Thank you so much to my sponsors, especially my founding sponsor partners. I appreciate you. I love you all. Thank you so much. Please reach out to both of those people, to Jose and to Kat, for the savings with Kat. And you know what? You may find a coach and a mentor in the CLA, in the Connected Leaders Academy. So there's lots of coaches there. So do that. You're with the long bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. We'll see you on the other side on Inspired Choices Network.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the fourth segment. I am just having some technical difficulties here trying to find my chat room, see what's going on. But anyway, so in this fourth segment, we want to be able to take 100% ownership. So the call to action for this show is to actually to actually execute. So to take those 4 steps, those 4 cornerstones, take 100% ownership of those cornerstones. John Maxwell said, lots of people are teachable. Lots of people are eager to learn. And so we do that. We learn, we have those bits and pieces, but at the end of the day, they're not coachable. They're eager to learn, but not necessarily coachable. What does that mean? They're eager to learn, but they're not eager to change. You need to be eager to learn and coachable, meaning you're eager to change. And that becomes a deal because we're wanting to, what does that mean? Well, I can learn, again, they say knowledge is power. No, applied knowledge is power, which I think we would all agree. Applied knowledge is power. But having that applied knowledge, now I need to execute. I need to actually do what my plan is. And so I want to be eager to learn. And I'm an avid reader. If you're not reading, I encourage you to read. The more you can read, the more successful you'll be. But that's eager to learn, eager for the information, but also eager to be coached. I have to be willing to sacrifice. Again, I've said that before, sacrifice who I am today to become who I'm supposed to be tomorrow. I'm expanding. We are expanding. Our information is expanding. Who we are is expanding. And as I expand, I can't come back to that size again. Once I'm there, once I'm in that space, once you've expanded, you can't come back. Once you've expanded, you never go back to the original. And so we just keep expanding and expanding and expanding our knowledge. We want to be able to learn. We need to be able to understand what's going on around us. And like I said, if you want to dig, so that's the call to action. Write those attitude, work ethic, accountability with consequences, and execution, and then figure out how that fits into your life. How can you have a more positive attitude? How can you have more work ethic or better work ethic? Jumping in and reaching out to Jose and saying, hey, this bookend, Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, how does this work? The morning and evening routine, how does that work? Well, how can that improve my life? How can that make things better for me? Because that's actual execution. Digging deeper. Box Inside Out, and I still haven't found my chat. That's a little bit disconcerting, but anyway, if there's a way, if you want more information about Box Inside Out, it starts on September 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Email me for details, reach out. I can give you, that's a group coach session. That's 1 hour a week for 4 weeks, and connect me directly for coaching. If you're looking for one-on-one, you're looking for, group, you're looking for keynote speaking, you want me to share some of this information, you hear something, you go, wow, you know what, I would love you to share that with my people or with my tribe. Happy to do that. Reach out to me directly, and we'll talk about that, and we can find out some more information. You can book me as a speaker at thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com, or my website is www.thelongbeardedguy.com. Next week, we're going to talk about what is your true worth and value. Really, truly. Why? Because without that, the rest of it, lots of times doesn't make a difference. I don't show up even for myself the way I should be if I don't think my worth and my value is what it should have been. So in a grand scope, that's our worth and our value are absolutely key. We want to make sure that we know what that is. So show up next week. That's Friday, I think it's the 16th, because today's the 9th. So the 16th at 12 noon on Inspired Choices Network. And again, go find it on Apple TV, Google TV, find it on your smart TV, the ICN app, the Inspired Choices Network app. Find it on there and plug into that. Share it with your friends. Share it. Please like and or love and share this information with other people. Share this recording with other people, whether it's a podcast, whatever you're sharing, the digital, the podcast, or the TV show, whatever, however you want to watch it and see it, it's there. So please look out for that. And I'm a little bit not having as much success this time as I had last time this happened. It was easier last time. I don't know where I am in terms of the show, but you know what? I want to make sure that I let you know what, pause and breathe through your day, pause and breathe through your week. Challenges happen for all of us. Good things, bad things happen for everybody. But pause and breathe. Pause and breathe. You'll find, you know what, if you can do that more often, when we get into situations where we're freaking out or we're not sure what's happening and how things work and whatnot, pause and breathe. When we're not sure what to do, we need to focus, hyper-focused. Pause and breathe. Pause and breathe. And then make sure you're executing, make sure you're running through these things. Attitude, what you think, work ethic, who you're being, what you're doing, who you're becoming. Embrace accountability with consequences. Embrace it, because it's making you better. Those bits and pieces, we've talked about that. It's in our piece about understanding who we are, understanding that I can be what I'm supposed to be if I just execute, if I just am in the space. I wish for you all to make it another great week. Execute all week. I love you.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs!